Hey, Neil McDonnell here with another Neil Raw. These videos are designed to kind of help you watch what I do when I follow my process for any particular task related to government contracting, business development. I was actually thinking about changing this and put in the comments your thoughts on this, but changing the name of this to kind of Neil's on-the-job training, if you will, right? The outcome for you that I hope you get is learning how to do what I do and picking up some good tips and being able to proceed yourself and do this all by yourself and start doing research, whether it's understanding technical documents or like today's video is going to be on finding teaming partners. I get people asking this question all the time, and I have a customer right now who wants a veteran-owned small business as a teaming partner. They're trying to go after something, it needs to be veteran-owned prime, so we need to go find that prime for us to serve as our prime. And so anyways, you watching this could be on-the-job training. I imagine that, I'm helping some mid-sized small business firm with several salespeople, or even a large firm with their sales staff focused on a particular agency. How do they dig in? How do they go after true capture when you don't know anything about an agency, right? I served in the Army, and I've been gone a long time out of the Army, but if I had started working like I did, I came out of the Army and worked for a defense industry contractor, government contractor. For them, it made sense because I knew everybody at the Pentagon when I left, but I don't know anybody at the Pentagon now, so to speak, right? I don't have any kind of, I just retired or I just left legacy relationships there. So how do you go after an agency when you don't know anybody? Or how do you find teaming partners when you don't know anybody? These are the things I want to teach people. And that's what I'm hoping to show you. Today's video is going to be, like I mentioned, finding veteran-owned small business teaming partners or potential teaming partners, right? So today is just about finding a pool of businesses that I can then vet with my customer to help them find the right one, the one that's going to make sure they get a good share of the work and that the work proceeds in the direction that they want. So, you got to vet that out. That's not, that follow-on relationship stuff's not part of this video. This video is about how do I find the names and numbers of the people to call and to start feeling out the beginning of a new relationship or a new teaming partnership. Okay, so just giving you a little bit of the scenario before I dive in. I already said who I'm looking for. The type of work is video production, so it could be communication and outreach, public affairs. I didn't do any prep for this video, right? What I'm trying to show you is what do I do when I have a new task that I put on my own plate and I got to go in raw to do that task? I'm experienced enough to get it done. I'm experienced enough to know that I'll get it done. But you're going to see me kind of bounce around. And I describe this as a maze that I know the start of the maze and I know there's an end and I know I will get to the end, but I don't know the path yet, right? It's a brand new maze in front of me and I'm going to follow a path until I hit a wall. And if I hit a wall, I'll just come back to a known good point and then start down a new path. And by doing enough of that, I'll get to the end and I'll get what I'm looking for. Something I want you to remember always is that what we do, pretty much anything in life, but there's a known start and a known end. And unless you're driving from here to San Francisco, here being DC, there's no direct path and known path. A lot of times the path is unknown and you just got to figure it out. And the more experienced you are, the faster you're able to navigate through unknown mazes to get to the end. So in particular, for those of you who are newer to this kind of activity, just follow with what I'm doing. If you got comments, connect with me on LinkedIn. Be happy to answer messages when I can get to them. Feel free to post comments. I try to get back to comments. But either way, definitely put some comments in. If there's ways that I can help you, I'll try to do that. Okay, so let's get started with this. I'm going to share my screen and get rocking and rolling. And so in this case, by the way, those are my boys and they're 6. And I'm going to keep putting my screen up as I change. So here's my Word document. It's just what I'll use to capture any kind of information I find as I go along so I can reference it later or research it further later. Again, I'm looking for possible veteran-owned small business teaming partners. Let me just get this set up. So this is where I'm dumping information as I find it. I'm pretty much going to start with, not pretty much, I am going to start with 2 main data sources for finding potential teaming partners that I like. One is DSBS. It's the SBA controlled SAM profile. If you're not familiar with your small business profile, it's my most passionate piece of information I try to share with people. It is your most important marketing tool, your small business profile, which is made up of SAM and DSBS. Inside of DSBS, I have access to 310,000 potential small businesses. Actually, 10% of the small businesses that say they want to sell to the government say they don't want to be available on this search, which is hilariously wrong. And I'm about to put a video out on that as well, because I can still get access to their data from sam.gov. I just can't get it access from here. And this is where the federal buyer is. So if you're one of those people, make sure that you're saying you want your public profile, or excuse me, your profile to be publicly searched. That's what I'm going to do with this tool. DSBS is publicly searched for people who say they do what I do. The next thing is, I'll just let you know early on, the next tool I'm going to be searching on is Federal Procurement Data System, FPDS. This is where all the contracts that have been awarded are listed, so I can go in and do some more research. And from a high level, just let me explain these two tools again. In DSBS, I'm looking for companies that say they sell to the federal government, that say they do what I'm looking for, right? So I'm finding people who are communicating that they do it that way. The reason I want to get into FPDS is I want to get a separate group of businesses that have won work at the Department of Veteran Affairs, where this opportunity we're pursuing is. They've won work there. That tells me they've got past performance. So as a prime, that's always a good thing. And then I want to look in and hopefully they've won 5 or 10 contracts at least with the VA. I'm not overly picky, but they need to have at least 3 because that's what the contract requires or the response requires. And then I'm going to try to tighten it up even more in which part of the VA they're working, because if I can find them working in Veterans Health Administration, for example, that's better than if they're working at the veteran benefit or the national level of the VA, because the opportunity we're chasing is in the VHA or Veteran Health Administration. So anyways, that's why I'm using those two tools. Let me dig in. This video is not about training you on how to use tools. I'm showing you that I am using the tools. I'm letting you look over my shoulder as I go forward. I'm going to try to give you running dialogue, but I'm not trying to teach you about the tools. And most importantly, why I'm saying that is because I have videos where I teach people how to use these tools. So go watch them. They're on YouTube. They're on my LinkedIn. They're in our website at govconchamber.com. So you can find videos out there where I teach you how to use the tools. Other people teach you how to use the tools. But here, I'm going to town to find what I'm looking for. So the first thing I want to do is to look for local veteran-owned small businesses, because the opportunity we're trying to pursue requires that. So I'll just start with Maryland, because this work I'm pretty sure is in Maryland. And then coming down, I don't care about any of that, because when I say I don't care, by the way, cut me a little slack. Yes, I care about all sorts of things. But when I say I don't care as it relates to the activity I'm doing, I just mean it's not relevant. And my way of saying not relevant is I don't care. But I really do care. Okay, so coming down, I said I'm looking for a veteran-owned business, and there we go. There's only one that I care about. Service disabled, I don't care about here, because the opportunity is for a VOSB, not an SDVOSB. And this one right above it is service disabled veteran-owned small business. So anyways, so that's where I'm at that. I'm going to keep on coming down. I'm trying to figure out what I'm looking for filter. And again, I'm doing this totally raw, trying to remind myself. So the customer's out of Maryland, and they require that you have a local presence there, which in our response, we're hoping to get them to get rid of, but it needs to be veteran owned. And for the moment, I'm going to start there and just say, let me see what my pool is. And from that, I'll tighten it down by the, by something. What am I going to be tightening it down by? By their, the keyword or the NAICS. Okay, so next thing I want to do is I want to come down here really quick, and I definitely want to see a lot of people. So, when you do a search like this, it's not going to show you over 5,000. It'll come back and say the results are too large. So you got to keep it narrowed down. But I do want to edit some of the columns that they're going to show me. I don't care. Like here they do name and trade firm. I always remove that one. I don't care about the address and city at the moment because I'm looking at their state. And so I've got capability narratives. Contact is fine. Contact's their main point of contact in there. I can come back later and add more fields when I'm ready to actually dump it into my spreadsheet. Okay, so let's go in here really quick. Address, I don't care about. Cage code at the moment, I don't care. I don't care about, because I'm not going to search on that stuff. I am going to come back and get their email address. I am going to add their phone number, because that's the phone number and email for the main point of contact there. Where was I here? Email address. I don't care about their website, because really I'm going to do first outreach, and whoever responds to me is where I'll begin to have a conversation. Last updated, a lot of this stuff doesn't matter for what I'm doing. Name of firm. So it was, it had a bigger field. Oh, name and trade name. I don't care about a combination. Those kind of throw the search results off, or at least, interferes with what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to come down here. I'm just looking. I don't really care about a lot of this, but I just want to make sure I'm looking at what I'm looking at. So here, I'm going to throw in keywords just for the fun of it. Because by throwing in capability, narrative, and keywords, when I scroll through a lot of businesses, and I can scroll through hundreds of businesses in a very short amount of time, and my eyes are just experienced enough that I can quickly pull out what I'm looking for. And it's kind of like if you're looking at cars or something, and you're looking for a certain thing, you can tell if they're a coupe or they're a van or a truck, and you can zoom through a lot of those. I do the same thing with companies. Okay, so let's go through. I don't think I want anything else, especially these one-to-many. You see right here, it says it'll limit the results to 1,000. I want to start at 5,000 and work my way down on my own. Okay, I'm going to save this really quick. Let me actually move this up. So I'll move that up, and then I don't need their contact information before I need the other information. Right. So if I like them, then I'll have the contact information available. But otherwise, my first thing is to quickly look at their narrative and keywords. So let me save this. And for the moment, I'm going to leave this in table format. If you look here, you'll see that the results can come out in table format, or you can have it come out as a spreadsheet. There's other stuff, but the only ones I really care about are those two. I either want to see it on the screen, or I want to push it out to Excel so I can manipulate it. This is what I would do when I'm ready to dump it, and I have access to it later, and I can review it in much more detail. But first, I'll look at table format because then I'm still within the browser, and I can still come back in, which I know I'm going to do. I can come back and add some keywords, etc. Okay, so let's hit search and see what we get. When you do a search like this, by the way, it's going through all of them, so it's finding it. But at the top of the results, you'll have confirmation of what did I just search, because we went through a lot. And so at the top, we'll be able to see that we searched for veteran-owned small business located in Maryland. And I think that was the only filter at the moment. I'm going to come back in a minute. I'm trying to figure out good complementary firms or competencies to video production, because that's really what this thing is. Okay, so let's look. We've got 20. First thing I'm looking at is how many results, and I got 2,600 results came back. That's great. We'll get to that in a minute. And then here, I'm just confirming it's Maryland, and these companies are active, and it's a veteran-owned business. So there's my search criteria and the results. So one of the first things I do, and the buyer does, is you rule out any company with a blank capability narrative. So one thing to keep in mind is, as we go forward, I'll continue to restrict my results down. So right now my results are there's 2,600 veteran-owned firms in Maryland. Let's go tighten up that results. So by the way, if you come down, you can see all these blanks. Those blanks are going to be off the list. When I take this into a spreadsheet, the first thing I'm going to do is filter it out and say, don't show me anybody who does not have a capability narrative. And that's what the government does. The default way of seeing this information is a capability narrative. And the capability narrative tells the government and me, what does this company do in a casual way? So this guy does design and fabrication of custom bullet-resistant devices and custom cabinetry, architectural millwork, and furniture application. I like how those last two fit together with bullet-resistant devices. So, but either way, I can look at that and go, all right, I got it. They do bullet-resistant custom cabinetry. That's not what I'm looking for, but I can see it. But if your things are blank, how can I tell anything? So I just move on. Again, I do a lot of other videos, and you're going to see me doing a ton in 2020, trying to encourage dark matter and everybody else to get in here, populate. It takes a short amount of time, and then you're visible to the buyer. Okay, so let's go reduce the amount of results down by giving it some keywords. And so let me think about the keywords for a second. Sorry, I'm not going to pause this video or edit it to get rid of it, so it's real time, right? But so the type of work is video production. And I'm trying to think, how do I find a broader company? And so I'm going to try just communications for a second. So you can type and hit enter and it'll do it. So now I'm searching on veteran-owned in Maryland with a keyword of communication. Excuse me, right there. And you can see I just went from 2,600 to 112. I could almost stop there and just dump that whole list because I've got the energy to call 112 people flat out, and their phone number and email is right here. Generally, this point of contact is the president of the company. So I'm able to talk to the owner of a small business and say, hey, we're going after an opportunity. It's a veteran-owned opportunity. It's for this type of work. And we're just not, it's funny, the company I'm working with is veteran-owned. They just don't have their tag with the VA yet. And so they need to get that tag in place. But so this piece of work, they really want it. And if it fits right, they need to team up with a partner. That's how we all of us smalls succeed. Really, it's how larges succeed too, is teaming up. Okay, so now when I look at this, I'm looking to see, is it small enough? Like, I don't want to filter it too much that I'm going to weed out a big bulk, but I can see right in the beginning, like, so this company here, Visionary Media, I have to feel them out in a second. So one of the things and I'm just giving you my secret sauce behind the thing, right, is I want to make sure my customer has a chance at getting the maximum amount of revenue and then go after things. Visionary Media here looks like a great company, but they look like they do exactly what my customer does. And that's a lot of, there's not a lot of complementary services. It's duplication, right? And what you really want to find in a teaming partner is where there's more complementary services. And it's okay to have a little overlap. That's not bad at all. But what I'm looking for is others. So here, a lot of these guys are networking. They just throw communication in, could be telecommunication. So I'm looking for communication outreach. That's a kind of a key phrase for the type of work we do. Video production is more specific. Television shows, I might go back in a second and search for television. But I'm coming down and looking at some of these folks. So this is all cyber. A lot of these guys, so communication might not be the best word for me because in there, it ties me into a lot of these people who are telecommunication. So they use communication. Let me change the keyword. I'm going to try something different here. I'm just going to try outreach and see if anybody's putting in the word outreach. So here I got 15 companies. It shrunk massively, right? So 2,600 to 112 to 15 companies, and I only need one, right? We're only trying to team up with one and go after it. But here, these guys are information technology, strategic communication, right? That's a big one for me because it shows me they do a lot of other stuff, but they also do, you click on it and it takes you in, but it also shows you that they do strategic communication, program management. I don't know if they got other stuff. They do outreach training. So this is a type of company that my customer who's video production could easily team up with in the sense that they could be the video experts for these guys if the relationship pans out. Let me come back to the results here. So there's 15 there. And that stuff looks good because like here's public relations for these guys, but they also do research and other stuff. I don't need a lot. We can bring the past performance and the experience, et cetera. We can write the whole response, but we need somebody to be the prime. So this stuff is looking good. I'm going to try one more search. That was a good search. If I do one more search and you're watching me just kind of think about this, but one more search, and I guess, the reality is I'm kind of recording this video fast for you. But the reality is I could have probably have written these words down and it made this a little bit better prep. Okay, so let me think of this. I got outreach. I did communication. Let's try public affairs. Actually, I might just try public just for the fun of it. these tools. So here's 69. And this one is okay, so the problem with public wasn't actually a good search because it's going to pull in a ton of people who say they work for the public and private sectors, which is fine. I mean, that's why you type in these words to try to figure out which ones fit best. What I'm not typing in is video production. And let's do that once. Like, let me just put in video, for example. Video. So we had 12, I think, or 15 of the last one. Here's 60 of them who do video. So a lot of these guys are going to be pulling up. This is pulling up video and for people who are putting in video technology, which is a little different. So that's what this is, right? Sorry, that little pop-up keeps happening. But like right here, number 13, if you look over, they've got audio visual design, installation. That's not who we're looking for, but that might be a good fit. But this one here, we offer training solutions to satisfy learning needs, expert knowledge for world-class training. So these guys are full into training, content development, some of these job aids, videos. So video is not their core competency, right? If I can follow this correctly, these guys, their core competency, number 12, AJK Solutions, their core competency to me, I'm just trying to get this great pop-up out of the way. Their core competency to me is training, right? Learning and training, et cetera. So it's not video production. There might be a good fit for me on that. I'm going to try one more thing and just try video and, oh, what was that other one I did? Did you save it? No. Video and telecommunication. I just got to back up here and look at it. So there's video. I'm just backing up to remind myself, okay, not public. And it was the one before this, I think got me 15. So outreach and video is what I'm going to try. Okay, sorry. I guess I could write those two down really quick. Outreach and video. Okay, so here, let's try video, outreach. I think we had 60. What happened? Let me just make sure I'm looking at my results again. So Maryland, veteran, video, or outreach. Coming back, I don't think I need any of the rest. Yeah, search. There we go, so 74. So I had 60 and I had 15. Now together I have 74. I'm gonna leave that there. This is gonna be the one I export out, and based on this, I will then begin to look at each one of these people and weed out the ones I don't want. So I told you, excuse me, let me just do it with you so you can see how I do it. So we looked at it in the table format. Now I'm going to push it out to Excel. Search using this criteria. It takes a second depending on how big it is, but then it pushes out the results as an XLS. I'm going to say go ahead and open it. It opens it up in Excel. That was just an error saying it's not going to quite look the way you want it to look, hence that look. I'm going to come in here really quick, a couple of basic things. I hate borders when I'm in Excel. I don't need this column, so I'm going to get rid of this column and make sure that's gone. I'm on this video, and it's a really important video, so I want to make sure I'm getting the keywords spread out so I can look at it. Hold on one second. I'm on this video. No, I'm on this video. Out. I cannot believe you just did that to me. So hopefully my editor will take that one part out. Or I might leave it in just to see it as a, what do they call those? Easter eggs. But anyways, I'll let my editor decide whether they take it out. That was my kid yelling at me. It's like, I'm coming. I'm trying to record a video a day. So I help people out there. Okay, so I like cleaning stuff up before I do anything with it. So I'm going to come here, freeze the top row. I'm going to get rid of hyperlinks because I hate hyperlinks in a document when I'm trying to work on it. So I'm going to get rid of the hyperlinks for the moment. And you can leave the hyperlinks in, by the way, if you want them, because they link back to DSBS. But for me, I don't want to. I want to be able to look at this stuff and look at it clean. What do I got going on here? Okay, let me move my picture. I'm just going to fix some of this stuff really quick before I show you how I search. And if you're really good at Excel, you already know what I'm doing here. But okay, so one last thing, because I am just that kind of a person. I got to put some color in. I always make this kind of a gray and make sure it's bold, which I just undid. And then the last thing I think I do on my basics is I just quick filter on. So then I can filter and do searches on this. So the first thing I'm going to do is to say, show me sort A to Z. Let's see if that works. And then I'm going to say, get rid of all of these and only show me blanks. So out of the 11, there's 74 that are blank. And I'm going to look, I'm going to give them one quick shot just looking at this. Even though I said I was going to get rid of it, I don't want to be too hasty. These guys do web conferencing, video production. These guys do cable and fiber. So I'm definitely going to get rid of you. And this is what I would recommend you do, is just get rid of the ones that don't fit. So they do video broadcast studio, project management, engineering, virtual reality, esports. So this one's pretty cool, but they seem just way too much like our competitors. So I'm going to get rid of that. Electronic security systems, low voltage, data center, wireless, no. And I am being pretty aggressive on this. I'll end up with a small list. If I can't find the results on the small list, I'll expand it until we find a partner. But I don't need a lot to find a good partner. If I get 10 good names out of this list in the FPDS, then the chances I'll find a partner in there for my customer is really good. Okay, here's VTC. They do all the equipment for it. They do some videography. I'm going to leave them in there. I'm going to give them a pass because they didn't do this. Workforce services management, consulting strategy, marketing operations. I'm going to get rid of them. If they're that good, I'll find them over on the other list. Hardware engineering, systems, cyber, no. I'm going to get rid of them. And then provide services, including live DJ. So these guys provide a lot of stuff. They provide a ton of stuff, and it seems pretty similar to what my company does or my customer's company does. So let's get rid of them. Wiring, I don't care about fiber optics. Alarm maintenance, audiovisual building automation, teleconferencing, audio install, video install. So these guys have a little presence. Let me try them, and let me get rid of Advent. So I'll leave them there. Let me clear the filter. So now what I'm going to look for is this capability narrative. I'm going to quickly come down, and instead of deleting everything right away, the first thing I'm going to do is highlight each cell that doesn't seem like a fit for me. So comprehensive services, that's good. I'm just looking for flat out wrong ones. Leader in multimedia management, because I don't want to do all the research with you. But here, this one's helicopter, right? I'm getting rid of that guy. Let's change this to yellow. Okay. Offers a team of successful track record. What do you guys do? Communication outreach, it said. Training, satisfy. And actually, I might stop in a minute because there's going to be a lot for you to see, and I don't need you to see everything. I need you to see the process. But currently responsible for providing their services to government buildings. So these guys are security. I'm going to get rid of them. All of our personnel have over. So these guys look interesting. Telecommunication. They do a lot of different stuff, but I don't actually see that they do anything near video or communication outreach. I think what I'm looking for a lot more is somebody who's in the communication and outreach part, so that they're there. So here, audio video production. Hey, network. So this is good. Audio and video production, post-production, computer network design, implementation, and management. It seems like maybe video production is not a strength of theirs, so I'll leave it there and check out. And you see the same thing going down. One of the things I noticed from looking at this is I want to go figure out, did I miss an opportunity to do, let me do one last one on the table format. I did public. You remember I did a key research. I'm going to try public affairs or public affair. Okay, so that didn't help. let me try, oh, my keywords are gone. Hope everything else is there. I'm going to try, how about PAO? So here's 2 companies, veteran-owned Maryland, 2 companies with PAO. And these guys help with public affairs office. And so, you know, and then their interesting thing is I might come back if I wanted to, and I'll just show you this one last search, because this is what I mean by a maze. You go down a path, you come back. You go down a path. You know, a good fit might be training. If I find a list of people who are veteran-owned firms that do training, then training is a level of communication and outreach within an organization. So, okay, so I won't use it initially, but now I know I have 342 other possible companies within Maryland. So let's move to the second part of this video that I want to talk to you about. I just did a quick video research, just so you know my process. I go to FPDS and I type in anything I want into this because I don't care about this guy. I'm just trying to get to the search so I can do advanced search. And by the way, one of you wizards out there who can find this, for the life of me, I can't find how to do advanced search right from this thing, you know, like some link that says click here for advanced search. And so if you find it, let me know. But otherwise, I type a word in, hit enter, and I'm here. And then I go to advanced search at the top. So forget about the results for a second, right? I'm going to go to advanced search. And in here, I just want to teach you how I do it. I've got video as a keyword. And if you come all the way over to the right-hand side, there's this box called search criteria. So everything we enter will be visible right there. Currently, I'm searching on video. That's too big for me. I want to come back and look at more stuff within that same result. I'm okay using video because in here, I'm going to start with people who are doing video, and I'll do some similar type keyword searches where I bounce back and forth with different ones. But I want to first add a couple of basic fields. So the first field I want to get in here is date signed. I'm not looking for companies that have won business a long, long time ago, but let's say within the last 3 years. So here I can just pick a date. So I'm going to go back to, let's just say October, the beginning of a fiscal year, not 2019. So FY 18, 19, 20, I could even say 2017. And then the first. So that's the beginning of FY 18. So then we got 18, 19, and part of 20. That's good enough. So here I'll click on today. And by the way, so if you haven't seen this, I searched for video initially and I got 177,696. So I got 178,000 views. It's right here at the top, right below the date field, because I don't know if my mouse is actually showing up on the video. But anyways, I'm just going to keep showing you each search. So now I've filtered it down or reduced it down. I went from 178,000 results to 19,000 results. Still not enough for me because what I'm really looking for is people who have done business. So I'm going to add another criteria. By the way, come on over here. My search criteria is now showing video as the keyword. The date signed is within the last 2.5 years. Let's go add in Veterans Affairs. So here I'm going to say, let me cancel that. So sorry, let me back up. I forgot. There's a different way I would do this. So here you see the search criteria I have at the moment is video as a keyword and a date signed. Now, for ease, instead of me having to search it, I can just come over here to the left. And over here are the top 10 departments. And if I'm lucky, the VA is in here. So services, Veterans Affairs. That's who I'm looking for. So before I go there, let me come over here. So we're going from 178,000 results with video. Now I'm at basically 20,000 results with video within the last 2 years. And now I'm going to say go to Veterans Affairs, and you see me drop from 20,000 down to 1,000. Now here's the last fun one is I need to find a company. I need to find only the results from companies that are veteran owned. So what I'm really looking for here, and if I haven't made this clear, I'm looking for veteran owned companies that have sold to the VA within the last 2 years and at the moment using the keyword video. I'll expand that in a minute. So if you look over here, our search criteria again is video, date signed, and department. Let me zoom in. And the last one I'm going to do is I need to find the small business criteria. So hold on a second. Well, let's just start. Horizon. I know they're a big one out there. Let's take sensory technologies. Like I know what any of these companies are at the moment, but what I'm looking for is, and again, I'm not teaching you FPDS, so I'm going very fast through here, but what I'm looking for is the right term for me to search on. So I'm coming down here and you got business type and it's got woman owned. I'm like, so I need to go back and look for, actually, I think I know what it is. So I'll just try to do it out of memory. Let me show you. What I'm really trying to do is search by just veterans. I'm going to go to advanced search. I'm going to add a new field in here to reduce the criteria. And somewhere down here is the small, what the heck was it? Bear with me as I try to remind myself. Funny, I do this a lot and then I just forget it because I move on. So the vendor. So it's not the vendor thing. Is there a small business type? Small business demonstration. Come on, maybe it's socioeconomic indicators. And let's just start with vet. Okay, that was the wrong thing, which is fine. Let's go in here and clean that sucker up. So I'll get rid of that, and I'll just do another advanced search. Oh, it got rid of my veterans. And then let me add another one in here. So the new search results is going to include, new field. And you just got to bear with me because I can't remember what it is. So I'm going to scroll down until I see it. It's one of my fun ones, but. That's funny. It's socioeconomic indicator, but maybe I have to write. Oh, that's interesting. How about we try WOSB, and then I'll try WOSB, and then I'll try veteran. Darg. So it's not that. So I just got to click through here. It's faster for me to click through here and try to find them. The problem with FPDS for me is that I don't know off the top of my head the way to write the criteria. So I got to come down and find it. So it's funny, I'm finding the women businesses, but I'm not finding the veteran businesses. Come on, I can't possibly be clicking on the same thing over and over. You gotta like this. Somehow my search got rid of the whole window. Man. Let's try this again. Bear with me. And by the way, so it's not just, let's just do this a little faster. I can sort by date signed. I can filter it in a minute, but okay, so here's somebody with video services. This tool is got some limitations. Okay, so let me just remember the day. Baymeki, whatever that is the first one. I'm looking, so that's the first one. Metro. Let's look at the second one. There we go, veteran. So I need the whole word apparently. Okay, sorry it took so long. So let's go back to advanced search, add another field in here and say, I'm pretty sure it's socioeconomic indicator. This is veteran. Look at that. You can't type vet. You have to type veteran. It's some sort of magic thing for me, right? By the way, I operate on this rule. When I'm alone having a beer with my wife, I'll complain about the tool. But in the industry, when we're working in GovCon, the tools are what they are. And things move slower in the government. So just figure out how to use them and go forward. I was a little frustrated there because I couldn't type in vet. I had to know that you had to type in veteran to find that thing. And I would hope the tool was smart enough to find vet in that socioeconomic indicator. But it's not. Who cares, Neil? Get over it. Let's move forward. So I encourage you to do the same thing. Let's do the last one. So there's 2,600 companies here. Last field I want to reduce by is that date signed again. So let's do this. I'm going to add a field. I'm going to choose date signed here. And here I'm going to try to hopefully do this right. 10/1/2017 to today. I think that's the format. No, Yes, that is the right format. So I'm going to search. Okie dokie. So I have 463 companies here. These are veteran-owned companies that are doing business in the VA. Sorry, so let me come back here. Let me zoom in on the search criteria. So the search criteria is video is a keyword, in the VA in the last 2.5 fiscal years, and the socioeconomic means they're a veteran-owned company. Because even if it's an SDVO, they're still veteran-owned. So this gives me a lot of room for what I'm looking for. Now, this gets a little bit advanced. You're going to have to do it manually yourself until you figure out how to do it advanced. But what I do is, remember, I already downloaded data from SBS, or DSBS, excuse me. I already downloaded the data from there. And now I'm going to download over here. You see it's got a CSV export the data. I don't really care about the details. I'm not really trying to go over into the details. At the moment, I'm going to download this, and it's going to say the same thing. It had a spreadsheet. It opened it up for us, and now it's bringing it here. And so here, it dumps a bunch of information for us. Let me just expand this. And I'm not teaching you DSBS today, but what I'm really looking for is over here, I'm in the contract agency. I told you that if I'm lucky, and let me put a filter on this. I know I'm moving fast, so just go back and rewind if you need to. But I'm putting a filter on this, and hold on one second. This contracting office name, if I wanted to, I could sort this down even further and say, actually, I won't even bother sorting it down further because it's got, I don't need National Cemetery and I don't need VBA kind of thing, but really, who cares? It's not organized enough for me to be able to find what I'm looking for. But so anyways, I'm going to come over here, and in here, you'll see the different vendors. That's what I was trying to find. So if I look in here, let me just show you something. I click here, and there's 462 items, right? But if I clear that filter, and remember, I'm not here to try to teach you, but here's a quick way of looking at this. I'm going to say remove duplicates, and I want to remove the duplicates based on that vendor's DUNS. Let's use that. When I do that, 341 were removed. There's 122. So now I'm back to this stage where I'm only looking at 122 companies that I have to sort through. Now, this part that I'm about to do is part of my magic that I do for my customers. So I'm not going to show you the automated process I do, but I take these two spreadsheets, the one in DSBS where people have their contact information and other stuff. And in here, there's no contact information, but I take these companies that have won opportunities and I go compare them against each other. And, I've got automated tools that allow me to quickly pull the two together. And you saw that I got rid of, let me just undo this really quick. So you saw that I got rid of this, but I have the ability now to create a single spreadsheet that has the two sets of data brought together, and it will tell me for each company how many opportunities have they won in the last 2.5 years. That begins to create my priority of who should I reach out to. So anyways, I'm almost ready to wrap this up. Let me just come back and summarize what I was doing. This video was about trying to find potential veteran-owned small business teaming partners I could reach out to. So I started with DSBS, found a bunch of people who say they do what I want them to say. Then I went into Federal Procurement Data Systems, or FPDS, and I found a bunch of people who were winning, who were veteran-owned businesses winning at the Department of Veterans Affairs. Now I'm going to bring them all together and start calling them. So tomorrow, we'll reach out and figure out who to make quick phone calls to. I'm going to have a list of about 150, 200 companies to start from. When we get to making phone calls, I'll get that down to 50 to start. Those 50 we can knock out within 2 hours for our customer. So you can do all these fast calls. And it's a couple of people making the calls, but you can make these calls and quickly find out if there's traction. Are they open to a conversation? If they are, this is a good path for my customer to move forward. And now they have somebody they could potentially prime with. So remember, government contracting, it's not a secret, it's just a process. And the process is hard work. I just showed you one process for finding teaming partners. There's many. This is one of my favorite to just find a good pool of people to reach out to that shrinks it down like you would in a sales funnel. So I hope this was helpful to you. Remember, put comments down below, give it a thumbs up. I will see you in the next video, and I wish you a lot of luck on this process.